And welcome everyone to the recap of my last rounds. Before I show you my not so beautiful game, I wanna share with you my thoughts right after the game ended. Now, you might think that I cried before I recorded this clip. I didn't, okay? I did not cry. I do not cry. I'm a strong man. I don't even know how many times I tried to record this video. I'm sure you can figure out what happened today in the last round. I don't know what happened. I don't even know what went wrong, you know? So I lost to a 2200 guy with white pieces. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I played moves. He responded. And then I resigned. That's it. I honestly don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I kind of managed to screw up the whole tournament with this loss. I lost a little bit of rating, which is fine, but I don't know. It just sucks. It hurts. It hurts. This loss, it just hurts. Yeah. Well, live and learn. I know the things that I have to change, which is good, but yeah, this one sucks. I hate coming up with excuses. I don't really have one. I just know I wasn't in the right headspace starting from last night. I don't know. It was just a poor, very poor, mindset that I had. So, yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. Well, uh, I'm sure we can learn things from it. So yeah, I don't even know what to say, to be honest. As you can see, I'm rambling. I lost. It is what it is. Time to bounce back to the drawing board, and um, try to get better. That's the only way. So, yeah, it is what it is. See you on the analysis board, yeah? Did it look like I was crying? Well, anyway, here we are, round 9, the last round of the La Plagne Open, and I'm playing white against Merenciano Alexander, who is a 2200 French player. I did prepare against him as well, but I couldn't really find anything concrete. He played a little bit of this, he played a little bit of that, so I ended up going for the trusty one knight f3. He responded with d5, g3, knight f6, bishop g2, e6, castle, bishop e7. So nothing new so far, and for whatever reason, I had a feeling that I shouldn't play the King's Indian attack in this game, but I couldn't really find a real reason why not to, so I ended up going for d3. Maybe that was the mistake. Castle, bishop f4. And he responded with knight h5. So knight h5 was not a surprise because I had a game like this last year in December. Someone played this against me. It's a fine move. Basically, I would consider knight h5 a draw offer because sure, I'm moving the bishop back, I'm losing the tempo, but you're also going to lose the tempo back because the knight on h5 is a very bad piece. So when I go back, and I did, usually black immediately jumps back to f6, and now white has an option to repeat moves. And I was actually genuinely considering drawing this game just because it was the last round. Let's just go home, finish on a decent note. I end up with a little bit of extra rating. It's fine, but I was like, okay, come on, I'm wide. I have like at least 100 more ratings than my opponent. I'm here to fight, so let's fight. Again, maybe that was the second mistake in this game. Well, who knows? Rook e1, c5, a4. So I'm playing the same structure as before. Knight c6, e4. And this is when the total shock happened, or the first real total shock happened. My opponent played the move h6, and I have never seen this move before. And honestly, if I want to be 100% transparent, when I first saw this move, I was like, this is just bad. Like, it makes no sense. I don't even understand the move, and maybe he doesn't know the line, or he doesn't really know the structure, and he played something random. And I couldn't be, I couldn't be further from the truth. Actually, I even checked it with server engines, and even server engine is like, this is the top one move, or like, very close. And I was like, what the heck? And to be honest, during the game, I had no idea what this move was. I didn't even understand the idea behind it. Even when I was analyzing it, I was like, I still don't get it. But actually, it does make sense. Like, it's such a weird move, but it does make sense. So the point is that after e5, and I did play e5, Black actually jumps back to h7, which is again an unbelievably weird move. Like, what does the knight do on h7, right? Like, this is just a bad piece, it seems. But the point is that now the pawn on e6 is going to be defended. So after f6, right, the bishop constantly defends the pawn. So this is really good, right? That's the idea. And also the knight in some occasions can jump to g5 and also support the f6, f5, g5 somewhat attacking ideas. Very interesting, very interesting concept. I haven't seen this before, but it's a very interesting one. And now the crazy thing was that he actually prepared for this. Like, there's no game in the databases. There was no example of this, right? No data. But this guy did prepare. I don't know if he did this with the engine, but fantastic work by him. Although he got a little bit of help, because he told me at the end of the game that one of his friends, actually, I think my first opponent showed him our game, right? And so he was able to prepare off of that game. So he probably, prepped this h6 move. What a crazy. And because I wasn't really familiar, I was just following the standard stuff. And he was so confident with the structure, with the moves, with the plans. I got crushed very quickly. Let me show you. So probably even immediately after h6, I probably don't even have to push e5. Like, such a weird scenario that h6 is borderline and brilliant move, that even almost e5 is almost a mistake. Like, perhaps I should play some like knight a3, but that's like, I don't know, maybe knight a3 is the move. This position is so hard to explain. It's such a complex position. Anyway, I played h5. He went knight h7, and again, even like during the game, I was like, what the heck is this? Like, this is just horrible. Now, I was considering other moves other than h4. I wasn't really sure, and probably h4, again, I wouldn't call this a mistake, but h4 is probably not needed. Like, here, I'm really not so sure about h4, because h4, I'm kind of inviting the opponent, and the opponent wants to play f6 or f5 anyway. So playing h4 was, again, I wouldn't call this a mistake, but an inaccuracy, in my opinion. Now, what is the better move? I honestly don't know. Like, something c3, maybe knight a3, maybe knight c3. Some of those moves, I probably shouldn't move the h pawn in this structure. But again, because I was just not familiar with this setup, I was like, okay, I'm following the same spiel, right? And that's normal. And then I got punished so badly, h4, and he went with f5. And I was like, okay, interesting, sure. But I was like, okay, still whatever. Now, and now this is where I was just going down and like, and now from now on, almost every single move is just going to be either a mistake or an inaccuracy. I took on f6, he took back with the knight, and again, this is going to be another mistake or inaccuracy on my end. I played the move c3. So the idea of c3 was somewhat logical because I want to play d4 to create this or highlight the weakness on e6, right? So to fix the structure. So it makes sense, but it's actually a bit too slow because now black can play very, very actively. And I did see it. I probably very likely underestimated it. Now, what should be the right move here? So now, generally speaking, when we say, wing attack, right? And especially like early wing attack, we normally talk about the G pawn and the H pawn, but in a lot of instances, we can also add the F pawn to the mix. So usually if you push the F pawn early, you push the G pawn early, you push the H pawn early, right? The opponent can punish you. If the opponent can punish you, where can the opponent punish you? Always in the center. And this is just such a, well-known principle that I am aware of. I teach it, but I failed to do so. And here I should have played the move c4. By the way, it's not an easy move to make just because the reason why it's not an easy move is because it's an unnatural move, right? It's not a move that you would normally do in these structures, so you don't really consider such move, but here it would have been really, really good because I'm not letting you play e5, right? So black biggest asset and also biggest problem in the position is the pawn on e6 and the structure. If black can push e5 and just play very actively, black can be on top. But after c4, now it's not that easy to push these pawns. And let's say if you go knight g4 to support it, I go knight c3. I'm happy with d4 because then the structure is fixed. So then now it's everyone's game. But I ended up playing the c3, which is just, the idea is great, execution is bad because it's just very, very slow. And now my opponent again played very good chess. And honestly, props to this guy because he crushed me. Like he prepped very, very well, and he throughout the game he played every single move very fast. He wasn't intimidated. Not that he should be intimidated, especially not by me. I'm a noob. But he didn't care that I'm an IM. He didn't care about anything. He was just like, let me checkmate this guy. And he played according to that, mindset. Very, very, very awesome. And then he played e5. Such a good move. Another move could have been knight g4 just to prep this. This would have been fine too. Honestly, e5, I like it a lot. I think it's such a great move. What is the idea? Now, it might look like that, black just blunders a pawn, but the idea behind it is that after capture, and this is how the game went, he goes bishop d6. And now, sure, I am up a pawn, but look at the pieces, right? And we talked about this. Piece activity in general outweighs material. Black is just super active. There's this semi-open F file, right? Knight g4 is coming. Bishop is active. Queen is active. The other bishop is coming in as well. And my king is under a lot of pressure. And on top of all of this, look at my pieces. All of them are really, really bad. And so immediately here, I started thinking about how to solve this situation. Of course, I got into time trouble because of it, but I knew I was already in trouble. So I kind of out of desperation, but so I take the credit here a little bit. I was actually creative and I grabbed the best practical chance and I sacrificed the rook here on d5. So it's basically an exchange sacrifice. if I just go back to the e-file again, I don't know, let's say rook e1 or rook e2, he goes bishop g4, knight g4, queen f6, everything. It was just, I was just really not happy with that. So I was like, okay, let me change at least the momentum of the game, right? So takes, king h8. And here I was, and again, I cannot highlight this enough, how impressive this guy was in this game, right? Again, he did not care about anything. The only thing he cared about was, to just beat me. He was really out there to like destroy me, and the guy did. Like it was crazy, and yeah, I again here I played I think the losing move. Definitely, it was definitely a losing move in a sense that, after his move, it was like psychologically it was very hard for me to bounce back. So I played the move bishop g2, and here I should have played the move c4. I honestly didn't consider c4. C4 would have been a really nice move because I stabilized the bishop here, but most importantly, I activate my knight. That's my biggest problem in the position, that my pieces are very, very passive. I should have played c4, and after knight c3, it's everyone's game, actually. So now I don't think I'm worse here. I don't think I'm worse here. So I have 2, 4, 6, 7. Opponent has 5 pawns. So I have a minor piece and 2 pawns for the rook. So I'm not even down in terms of material. And after knight c3, I can activate my pieces. After c4, I think it's everyone's game. I was considering bishop e4. I probably should have played bishop e4. That would have been significantly better. Of course, not as good as c4, because after bishop at e4, bishop f5, I am a little bit worse. But yeah, I played the move bishop g2. And here, I even considered the move. I even saw this potential move, but I was like, no, he's not going to do it. I don't even know what I don't even know what went through my mind. And again, the guy just did not care. He thought for a few minutes and then immediately, boom, sacrifice. This guy was unbelievable. Unbelievable. F takes g3, queen takes c3. And again, like, am I losing in this position? No. Technically, I'm not losing. Like, this is a very, very unpleasant position. But the reason why I said bishop g2 was a losing move was just because of my psyche. It was just, the guy did not care. He sacrificed almost every move and played very actively. And the pressure was just too much for me to handle, right? The only move here was c4, actually, which is a tough move. And again, it's all about development. I want to finish my development. I think it's a very difficult move to find. Queen takes g3, and now I have queen e1, queen g6, king h2, and I somehow survive. Like, of course, practically speaking, I think this is still terrible, but I survive. Like, I could probably survive. I played queen e1 here, which is just a losing move. And again, the guy was just on fire in this game. And after bishop h3, I was like, what the heck, this guy is just... When he played bishop h3, I was, of course, mad, but at the same time, I wasn't super mad, because he was like, this guy is just crushing me. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, this is unbelievable. Like, it's crazy. So I can't take, right? Because then he goes like rook e8, and then I resign. Like, it's fantastic. And after bishop h3, it's game over, and the position is...
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
So I played bishop f4. Bishop takes, king takes, rook e8, and I thought honestly that I had queen f2. No. What did I don't know. I don't know what I thought, but this is just game over. Anyway, queen f2 is met by rook e2, so it's like it's game over. Queen f1, he went with rook e2, check, king g1, rook takes f4. Even when I was looking at, like, I knew I was losing here, but even when I was like, okay, maybe there's some chances, he's like, boom, finds this. And then I was like, you know what, whatever, you deserve this win. He crushed me. Like, I had zero chance. Honestly, the way I played, I had absolutely zero chance. So, shout out to this guy. I mean, he crushed me like it was like I was an absolute noob. I was an absolute noob, but of course I made some major mistakes, and then he crushed me, but well deserved, honestly. So yeah, good for him, honestly, really, really well done. And this wraps it up, the Plagne tournament. Honestly, it was great. It was fun. It was good to come back to the competitive scene. Although 9 rounds, that was a lot. Not gonna lie, that was a lot, but I enjoyed it overall. I lost 2 rating points, which is not the end of the world. Honestly, I expected a lot more. And I even could have won rating if it hadn't been for the last round, but that's okay. I will continue competing. I will actually compete very soon in Barcelona. I will do some recaps on that one, and I will record the event just like this one. So stay tuned for that. I am going to do one more video on just overall on my experiences, coming back to the tournaments, maybe some practical tips. If you're also a returning player, or if you're competing the first time, maybe it's gonna be useful for you as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this series, this recap. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something from it as usual, and I will see you in the next one. Yeah, so take care. Goodbye.